and gentlemen, welcome back to another episode of FitzRupee Cast. Featuring DoW2 Elite Mod. Red-Rupee here tonight, calling the shot for you. As always, we've got a 3-on-3 on Typhon Arena tonight. We have on the blue team, after he stops plowing through everything on the map, the Chaos Lord of Mr. Heinz, 31, and then OrientAlloy as the Tech Marine, and then last but not least on the blue team, TigerKonig as the Lord Commissar. On the opposing side, we have SneeryThug as another Tech Marine, HiveMinion as even another Tech Marine, and Flaming as our Ulthway Farseer to round out the Reds. So lots of Space Marine this game, and lots of Tech Marine this game, honestly. 3 Tech Marines, and on Typhon Arena, no less. Probably going to be seeing lots of turret action. Hopefully see some different builds or something like that. I know I love Tech Marine, but this might even be a bit much for me. Down bottom, I'm sure we'll see a turret on either side here, something along those lines. Up top even, you can have a nice defensive turret on your power or something to kind of lock down these middle choke points. For the time being, red team looks like they're trying to push into the center a little quicker than the blues. See if the blues can push back in this first engagement, get this victory point back, and maybe take that contested power up on the north side. Down bottom, of course, we have this lovely contested VP with a bunch of cover all around it that I'm sure will be destroyed by the end of the match. We've got a flank coming in with the Lord Commissar and his guardsmen trying to get on this Tech Marine. And the opposing Tech Marine gonna just start shooting each other as much as they can. Commissar gets in here. Guardsmen taking lots of fire from those dire Avengers in the back of the Farseer. Sentinel kind of out of position for support here. Does have its ground pound upgrade, so we'll be able to stun these Techs and the Tech Marine. And there goes the drop. Drops that foot. Puts a lot of pressure on the Tech Marine. We'll probably be able to get at least one of these attack models. We're trying to get in there to melee, but aren't quite going to be able to pull it off. Meanwhile, in the center, another attack goes down to the dire Avengers and the Farseer. Looks like for the time being, the Reds are going to hold, unless this Commissar can get in here on these dire Avengers, which he does. Sentinel goes blasting through a wall there, starts picking off dire Avengers left and right. That little Sentinel las cannon can really do damage to these weaker infantry. Oh, we've got Mind War on the field, and the Commissar kind of underestimated the power of that Psychic Duel the Farseer now has access to. Ghost Helm takes out the Commissar. His ally, Tech Marine buddy, will be able to pick him back up relatively easily. Grab himself probably a quick level there, and the blue team secures the bottom victory point. Up top, it looks like the Reds were routed as well after taking the map in the first stages of the game here during those initial capping stages. Oh man, even a Tech Marine down up here. The blue team manages to push back 450 to 500, and the blues are going to start pressuring some power now that they have that contested victory point. Tech Marine migrating northward to find himself yet another Tech Marine. Assault Marines jumping in, put some pressure on him. They're going to force him off pretty quickly. Tech Marine running up to the ally, or sorry, the aid of his ally Tech Marine. And with the support of those assaults and the attacks, he should be able to deal with this Chaos threat relatively easily. Getting in there, 1 damage squad already. Heretics are moving in. They do have that aspiring champion, though. If these Chaos Space Marines manage to get out and a good Doom Blast lands, nope, the assaults aren't taking the bait. However, this Tech Marine doesn't look like he's going to be able to get in there to res his ally. Everyone's moving back except for the Tech Marine. We might have 2 Tech Marines down here in a second if he doesn't get out of there. A nice knockback and a late retreat by HiveMinion there. At least I think that was HiveMinion. I believe that was. Yes, these Heretics with a mere 10 HP. Looks like they are going to sneak out of there. Fortunately for them, but now we've got dual tack squads coming in. Ultramarines pouring out the hurt over here. Down bottom, looks like the Reds managed to try to get in Gen Bash of their own, but it didn't quite work out. Scouts, Catechins, Tax, and Commissar pushing off that Eldar threat.
Your forces obey you.
OrientAlloy sitting on a big pile of wreck. Yeah, I was getting ready to say, I was wondering what he was waiting to purchase there. He still had a very small army. I think he lost one of his scout squads early, perhaps? Or did he always have that little? Wasn't quite sure. Rangers coming onto the field for flaming. Looks like we're not going to see Banshees this game from the Eldar player, which I guess is fairly typical when you're fighting against Imperial Guard. Banshees tend to just get shot where they stand with all the different ways that Imperial Guard have to stun and blast out damage between the Sentinel and the Catechins. Those Banshees probably never really get any swings off anyways. Up top looks like the map is going very red while they lose their power farm on the bottom. Looks like there's really not much contesting up there. Chaos Force is moving back onto the field now with the Havoc as well. Catechins falling back as the Eldars moving up once again. Got a little bit of everything as far as range damage goes. Has the Rangers, has the Shuriken, and of course those two dire Avengers as well. Mind War going down on the Catechins. Assault Marines jumping in, trying to pick apart this position here of the blue team. Reds look like they're going to be able to take this engagement handily as they get that cap. Of course, we've got all the Guardsmen and the Sentinel moving in on the back lines here while the red team's moving in. Assault Space Marines again getting the jump. Those guys have been doing some work. Looks like a whiff on the Sentinel stop up here. And these assaults are just going to keep hacking away at Guardsmen. There isn't quite enough range damage to force these guys off, especially with the Eldar forces here reinforcing the position. Up top we've got the Chaos Lord whacking away. This power node has been just changing hands up here all game so far. We've got a few players moving into Tier 2 at this stage. We've got Heinz, HiveMinion, and SneeryThug all rolling into that tech race. Assault Space Marines over here for OrientAlloy, forcing these Tactical Marines off of the field. Tech Marine's trying to do what he can. He's got Bionics. He wants to scare him off, but I don't think it's going to be quite enough. So let's see if he gets a nice, powerful sweep here. No, he gets knocked back instead. Will he be able to return the favor? Doesn't look like it, because those Assault Marines are just throwing him around like a ragdoll. There he goes. Finally gets the sweep off and at least threatens those Assault Space Marines. Managed to take a single model out. But still looks like these Tactical Marines might get forced off unless they get reinforced by two more squads. That's enough to scare two injured, wounded Assault Squad members right off of the field. Down bottom, we keep finding the tail end of a Gen Bash down here. Dire Avengers almost go out, a near miss on that Dire Avenger grenade, but they do manage to tag a single Catechin model. As everything falls back, might be another win here for the Blues down bottom if they can manage to return the favor of that Gen Bash. They did lose, I think, a couple gens. It looks like they had to rebuild all three, and the Guardsmen now fixing up that node. You don't often see people fixing up the nodes after they get damaged. Oh, we actually have a Tech Marine turret going down up top here. Looks like it got pretty beat up somehow or another. The Assault Marines are jumping in though, and it looks like they might just be able to take it out. This could be a lost investment for OrientAlloy. He has a pretty small army at the moment. I guess it's somewhat standard in a one-on-one to just have the in a 3-on-3 to just have these three squads in Tier 1. Have your assaults, have your attacks, and your one squad of scouts. Double scout, not necessarily as viable in 3-on-3 sometimes, so you don't always see that second scout from Space Marine as in the mid and later stages of the game. Those scouts can just disappear in the blink of an eye under all the potential range fire that can be out from three armies. Catechins and Sentinel still holding ground. I haven't really seen this heavy weapons squad do too much. I'm not sure where it's actually at. I guess it's retreating. That's why we're not seeing it too much. Rangers, oh dear Rangers, saved by the skin of their teeth by that Shuriken. Everything suppressed down bottom. Assault Marines moving in, putting some pressure on everything down here as we have Tier 2 upgrades coming all over the place. Plasma Dev a bit too far back to support this. Mind War going down on these opposing Assault Space Marines, actually managing to take out a model and leaving him pretty wounded. Looks like scouts might be going down here. Assault Space Marines might as well. They're being very brazen jumping forward, so wounded. And I would be surprised if they managed to get out of here. Luckily, the Farseer isn't paying attention, and the opposing assaults were pulled off to engage Guardsmen. Having that Sarge on the Assault Space Marine really changes the game when you're fighting against power armor. Farseer getting possibly a bit too overextended. She realizes it and it falls back. She does have the Armor of Fortune, giving her a bit more survivability and a regeneration, also the Fortune ability. But that's the thing with Farseers, when you have all these extra abilities. You have Fortune, you have Mind War, you have, of course, Fleet of Foot and Guide. It's difficult to figure out. One, you often can't use most of those in the same engagement. And two, it's kind of confusing at times to figure out which of those abilities are going to be the most efficient for your engagement. Tactical Marines trying to get a Gen Bash in there with the Flamer, but get forced off by a Shuriken. Commissar Lord getting a face full of Shuriken fire as well, realizing he has to fall out of there, but two squads of Siege Marines make short work of that Shuriken cannon. Looks like they're going to be able to tag themselves another generator or two down here. 359 to 360. The VPs are still neck and neck. Chaos Havocs with the Mark of Siege getting on the Las Cannon, even though there aren't really any vehicles on the field as of yet. But just as I say that, there's a Wraithguard moving forward for Mr. Flaming over here. These Assault Space Marines of HiveMinion have been doing some work. Oh my goodness. Oh, we've got a melee Tech Marine. That's something you don't see very often. Oh, and manages to take out those Siege Havocs with that Power Axe. Nice to see the Tech Marine getting that sweet sync kill there. This is actually pretty cool. It looks like we're going to have some fairly different Tech Marine builds. We have Signum and Plasma Gun for SneeryThug. Now we have the Power Axe, Bionics, and Refractor, the melee Tank Marine, pushing into the Imperial Guard lines here. That Plasma Gun needs to be finishing off that Sentinel. He could take that thing out very quickly if he just changed targets. Assault Space Marines now jumping in, along with the Farseer having that Singing Spear, another weapon we don't see very often. No abilities come along with that, but it just makes the Farseer a pretty reasonable heavy melee threat. Looks like the blue team is going to hold. They're not holding the victory point, but they do manage to keep their power farm from going down yet again, as Tiger heads into Tier 3 along with HiveMinion. We've got Heinz bringing a Chaos Dreadnought onto the field. We've got rockets on the field along with the, I guess, oh no, the Sentinel does not have rockets. I was going to expect the Sentinel to have rockets as well to threaten this Wraithguard. With that Siege Havoc squad going down, there's really not too much that can threaten this Wraithguard at the moment. Up top, we see the Tech Marine kind of just camping out on his natural victory point with a Razorback, some scouts, and a turret. Just been holding strong, holding fast against that Chaos Lord. Chaos Lord does have the armor of the Inferno, which, while very effective against the Eldar, probably not going to be as effective against the low model count, high HP Space Marine armies. Of course, that big AoE knockback those fireballs do can be worth its own sometimes, not just the damage over time effects. Also getting the Dark Halo, so that Chaos Lord's going to be a big problem if people expect to just be able to focus him down with range fire. Sometimes that Dark Halo Chaos Lord is just plenty enough to just draw all the fire of your opponents and keep them from being able to focus on anything else at the time. Here that Plasma Devastator spinning up. Let the Galaxy Burn goes down. Doesn't really hit too much though. Assault Space Marine jumping behind the line. We have the Siege Dreadnought up here along with Signum Armor, marking that Wraithlord. Wraithlord's getting himself a Bright Lance to counter the vehicle play. It's looking very injured though. Assault Marines jumping in, picking apart the red team bit by bit here. Those Rangers, or Dire Avengers rather, might not be getting out of there. Tech Marine actually upgraded with some anti-vehicle kit as well, has the Melt-A-Gun and the Orbs of the Omnissiah. So we actually, I take it back, we actually have 3 very different Tech Marine builds. This is pretty cool. I know how I said that might have indicated too much Tech Marine for me, but this is actually pretty interesting. I expected kind of just to see nothing but plasma rifles, considering there was so much heavy armor on the field. But we have 3 separate, we've got the anti-vehicle specialty kit right here, and then we've got the tanky Power Axe Tech Marine, and then up top we've got the classic. And speaking of classic, there it is. That's the relay, that's the plasma rifle, that's the Signum armor. That's the build and the stuff you'll normally see from the Tech Marine, but it's cool to see some different stuff as well. A little variety amongst the builds here.
The Chaos Legions march from the Eye of Terror.
And really still anyone's game at this point. OrientAlloy sitting on a pretty small army at the moment. Farseer now with this avatar on the field is, or sorry, avatar, not avatar. That's a really small avatar if that's what it is. Taking a sentinel missile to the face right there. But no, this is the Autar getting her executioner now. Gonna be a big threat to all of these Space Marines along with the Farseer. Put Fortune on that Autarch and it really can stick around and deal some serious damage. Of course, that's assuming she doesn't just get knocked all over the place by these Assault Space Marines. We've really been seeing the Assault Space Marines of both sides doing lots of work. And speaking of doing work, looks like they're going to take out the Tech Marine and his turret if he doesn't get out of there. Down goes the Tech Marine. Looks like the turret's not far behind. We've seen some Tech Marine turret play, but none of it's really worked out so far this game. Scouts go down there for HiveMinion. He's down at just the 3 squads, the Assaults, the Plasma Cannon, and those Stern Guard veterans. 236 to 311, with what's looking like to be shortly a triple cap here for the red team. Sentinel launching rockets all over the place, actually doing some pretty reasonable damage when those Stern Guards are all lobbed up, capping. Those Sentinel missiles, oh man, that Sentinel's actually level 3. Doing some solid damage at this state of the game. SneeryThug hanging out up top, needs to go tier 3 so he can bring some late game Tech Marine power onto the field here. He's sitting on a lot of resources, kind of just floating there a bit. A little too focused on the map, not remembering to tier up when he's got the resources. Lemon bringing some Wraithguard onto the field, probably a good choice against all of this ranged firepower of the Imperial Guard. Imperial Guard does have a battle tank on the field with Lemon Rust now moving in, getting some Stormtroopers as well, potentially to get an anti-vehicle kit and lock down this Wraithguard that's been such a thorn in their side so far this match. Assault Marines and Autarch jumping in, nothing else really moving up to support them though. We do have a Venerable Dreadnought coming down onto the field. Man, I love seeing Venerable Dreadnoughts, but I'm not quite sure it has the support it needs. The Plasma Dev needs to move up, the Stern Guards and the Rangers as well. Assault Space Marines do get forced off. Autarch might be a bit outgunned here along with this Venerable Dreadnought, especially with the Space Marines moving in and the Stormtroopers now with the Assault Kit on the field as well. Looking very hazardous for this newly purchased Venerable Dreadnought. We do have Dark Age of Technology trying to get a little extra HP on this bad boy. But as it stands, that thing just needs to get the heck out of there. Plasma Devastator needs to get a little further up, I feel like, if they actually want to be kind of pushing aggressively into this blue formation here in the center. Assault Marines jump in. Actually, that's not Assaults at all. That's Vanguard veterans fully upgraded with their Power Fist and everything. This Wraith Lord's gonna have to be very careful. Farseer activating the infiltrate on that webway gate, trying to get that Wraith Lord safely out of there, and Wraith Guards are now in here pouring Warp Blast into that blue formation. Unfortunately for them, the Vanguard veterans aren't going to stand for it. Wraithguard now moving in a bit too aggressively, once again taking Sentinel rockets and Lemon Rust fire. Up top, it looks like the blue team's taking back the map along with this contested victory point. Plasma Devastator hasn't really been getting many hits in, knocking his own Tech Marine all over the place. Tech Marine's trying to do what he can with that Power Axe. Commissar picking up the opposing Tech Marine as well. Signum going down on the Techie here, even with all that Bionics and everything. He can't stand up to that kind of firepower on his own. Melta Bomb going down on the Lemon Rust, but there's really not anything out here to support that sort of thing. We actually saw the Tech Marine, if you notice, dropped an Orb of the Omnissiah right here. Was trying to make sure those Assault Marines couldn't jump back out, but they'd already hit the retreat anyways. Up top, oh no! Oh, Imperial Abyss forcing off the Space Marine army. I'm not sure if he knows this relay is right here, but unfortunately that nuke is not going to hold too long. I'm not sure if he managed to get a squad there or not. Hopefully we caught that on the picture-in-picture there for you. Never want to miss a nuke in a 3-on-3 game. That's half the fun. More webway gates going up for the Farseer. We do have a Las Predator on the field to now put some pressure on this Siege Dreadnought. There's not many vehicles that scare a Siege Dreadnought, but a Las Pred is certainly one of them. 141 to 263 at the moment. The team struggling to keep the victory points in their favor, and it's getting to the stage of the game where it's really going to start mattering. Because once those VPs hit 0, that's it for you. It's okay to be behind in the early stages of the game, but once you start hitting these low hundreds, it's time to start really paying attention to that map control. Imperial Guard just keeping an eye on this point. Rangers moving up, trying to scout out the position. A triple cap for the Blues suddenly, and it won't take long for that to even out these victory points. Ooh, a nice flank here. The Venerable Dreadnought of HiveMinion sneaking up the back, managing to take out a squad there of Heinz.
The enemy has 200 points remaining.
And the Tech Marine looks like they're going to have the center locked down pretty well. Siege now facing off against the Venerable. We've got 2 Predators on the field here as well. And along with 2 Predators, we now have 2 squads of Wraithguard. Got lots of long-range firepower here in the center. 1 Predator goes down up top. I'm actually not even sure what took that out. Blue team trying to get that Venerable out of there. Orb goes down on the opposing Predator. And it looks like that Pred might be going down. Oh no! What happened? The Venerable Dreadnought, did that turn and move out of the way because the Predator moved? Oh, that is unfortunate. Veteran squad managing to narrowly escape the wrath of the Tech Marine. Oh no, and the Assault Space Marines just let it get out of there. Too much going on in this 3-on-3 match. Everything's quiet over here. We've got more Assault Marines coming back onto the field for SneeryThug. So that's 2 Predators, 1 Predator down on this side. I think we only lost the 1. I don't think there were 2 on the field. But both Dreadnoughts went down, and the Predator, the Blue Predator, is all that survived the vehicle engagement. But we do have a Phobos on the field for Mr. Heinz, 31. Oh man, we have a big stealth army moving in here. Wraithguard's now pouring blasts into that Layman Rust tank, taking it instantly down to about half HP. Wraithlord now moving in, trying to keep some pressure on that army. Wraithlord, oh my gosh, Wraithlords, or Wraithguards rather, both getting stunned at the fall of a Warlock there. Farseer changing her kit out, the Rune Armor and Spirit Stones now on the field in place of the Fortune Armor and Ghost Helm. And 2 squads of Wraithguards still blasting away at all this light infantry up top. Las Cannon, Predator, and Phobos moving in on this Razorback. Yeah, that thing's not going to last a second against that kind of firepower. And I think the blue team is now decisively holding the top for the time being. That is a lot of vehicle to move through up top. I'm not really sure how they're going to expect to push this. Teleported relay is going to go down to the Phobos as well, I believe. Those las cannons should make short work of it. Assault Space Marines facing off against the Vanguard veterans down here, and the Tech Marine kitted out here with his tanky melee support. He's trying to get a cap, or at least kite around a little bit up top. But these melee powerhouses down here. Ooh, another very aggressive jump. That's the second aggressive jump I've seen from OrientAlloy. He's been very fortunate again to get his Assault Space Marines out of there. We've been seeing a lot of heroes Assault Marines surviving crazy engagements so far this game. Phobos up top. Looks like there was a nice little sneaky cap down here. Stealth scouts keeping the victory points in favor of the red team for just a little bit longer. They've just about evened out here so far. Vanguard's now jumping in, getting stunned though, and blasted right into the firing lane of that Layman Rust tank. little brazen on that jump. SneeryThug has to pull those out of there. We have, oh my gosh, we have triple Wraithguards now onto the field. That is a lot of Wraithguard. I don't know if that last squad was maybe an Overwatch mistake, but here we are with 3. Not 1, not 2, but 3. Another Predator coming onto the field for Mr. HiveMinion. Hopefully it sticks around a little bit longer this time. This Lehman and Russ still being a constant threat to the red team. This is going to be a really difficult position to break. Oh, some more stealth Wraithguards now moving into position. Looks like maybe getting guyed as well. Putting a lot of pressure on that Lehman Russ tank. Ooh! That Tech Marine gets obliterated up top. Wraithguards managed to take out the Lehman Russ as well. Big losses there as everything's moving in. Up top, oh no, up top it looks like we have not 1 but 2 Venerable Dreadnoughts. And an Orb of the Omnissiah going down. It does stun both of the Dreads, but it does also stun that Phobos. Those Orbs of the Omnissiah can be so incredibly useful when dealing with these big super vehicles. This Phobos isn't going to stand a chance against both of those Venerable Dreadnoughts. Looks like this Chaos Heretic squad's going to be going down as well, unless they're completely ignored. No, the Venerable Dreadnought goes back to finish the job. Another Imperial Obelisk. Oh man, obliterating some models there. That looked like a whole squad that probably went down. This Venerable Dreadnought can deal with a lot, but it can't deal with 2 Laspreds and a rocket launcher. That thing's going to go down pretty quickly. There are 2 other supporting vehicles here. Another Laspred, a lone Vanguard veteran hanging on there in the center. And a Webway Gate coming out up top as well. Eldar allies might be, oh, here they go. Wraithguard are on the job. Once again getting stealth, moving in at very, well, not super fast speed, but for Wraithguard, they're pretty darn quick. Trying to get in position to put some pressure on this Predator. Their first volley completely misses, though. Those Predators need to back off before they get obliterated. 1 volley goes down. There goes the first Pred. All 3 Wraithguard now moving in on the second. I'm not sure. They might be microing elsewhere because both those Preds got obliterated in the blink of an eye. 3 Wraithguards make short work of any battle tank so long as they get in position. The battle tanks could have easily have kited away, but it looks like those particular players were distracted elsewhere when that went down. Suddenly looking very good for the red team. They managed to take out that Phobos Land Raider and both opposing Predators for the Blues. 114 to 70 at the moment. The red team needs to get those victory points back and hold on to them for just a bit longer now. The blue team, Heinz down to a single squad. We do have a Land Raider Redeemer now moving onto the field. That's a pretty cool color scheme, actually. It looks kind of, what, like, kind of District 9, I guess, is the color scheme there. It looks kind of District 9 or Black Mesa. That kind of pale, dark blue with the orange. Pretty cool, I like that. I like it. I like cool looking vehicles, man. 73 to 70, triple cap for the red team. This is probably about the last push the Blues are going to get. There's still 3 Wraithguards on the field down here, however. And if this Land Raider gets destroyed, I think that's going to be just about it. This Wraithlord's been on the field for so long. But all these Wraithguards getting tied up, it looks like. The Land Raider is still down to about half HP between all these blasts going down. There's so much range fire. A nice grenade volley goes down there. Fist of Brock is keeping everything under control. Oh my gosh, and a beautiful looking Eldritch Storm right there. Manages to take out at least 1 guardsman squad, finishes off the Land Raider and pushes back the majority of the blue army. There's still 2 or 3 big nasty heroes down here. The Tech Marine, the Chaos Lord, and the Commissar all down here putting some pressure on. However, that's allowed the red team to go up top and claim the top all for themselves as all the blues came down to claim this victory point down bottom. 30 to 70 right now, just as the victory points switch hands perfectly. No change in VPs until the red team gets the cap up top. Tech Marine with that Signum armor and plasma rifle makes short work with the help of that Venerable Dreadnought of a Chaos Space Marine squad and gonna take the top point for themselves. And this is where Typhon Arena is very tricky because it's hard to want to hold both. It's hard to hold both these top ones, and you still have to keep at least some pressure on the bottom victory point. It gets really dicey here in the late stages of the game when you're trying to hold all of the victory points. Great unclean one coming onto the field for Heinz, who is currently completely naked except for this lone Chaos Lord. I don't know what the heck this Predator is doing. Perhaps HiveMinion was chasing something and found himself a Baneblade instead of whatever squad he was trying to take out. Slowly, ever so slowly crashing that out-of-control Predator. A turret going up on the top here, trying to make sure they can keep that victory point. 12 points left for the blue team. They do have the bottom victory point now for a short time. Venerable Dreadnought charging, and Chaos Lord is going to get the decap up top here, perhaps just in the nick of time, keeping it at 6 victory points. All the Reds need to do now is get a cap at least once, but we've seen this situation a dozen times. The blue team can certainly try to hold out, but looking at the army composition right now, there's no reason they should be able to do it. This Baneblade will be a huge threat up top if we can't get any Predators or anything like that up here to threaten it. You could even upgrade this Tarantula turret up to a Las turret, especially considering that the Demolisher completely missed there. Vanguard veterans looking pretty beat up for both sides. They both have to fall back. Chaos Lord goes down as he, or rather, looks like he's going to go down, but might just survive with 1 HP. Nope, I spoke too soon. Down he goes. Traded the heroes right there. This Predator's just been hanging out in the back, not doing much of anything. Red team down here does manage to push off the blues once again. All they have to do is cap that point. I don't know why they have all these squads running all over the place. Just cap the point and end the game before you lose it. Oh wow, we have some hero vanguards once again, getting the decap up top on the natural victory point for the red team. Scouts here trying to get a shotgun blast or something like that off. Suddenly a 2-0 cap for the blues. This Predator can't, I don't know what these tanks are doing. We've been seeing so many tanks just driving like crazies. I think the Space Marines might have been drinking before they hopped in those battle tanks. 6-22. Another Predator goes down to the Wraithguards. Those Wraithguards been getting so much damage. Still no cap. What is the red team doing? Something knocked back the Farseer. It looks like they're 2-0 cap with 8 points remaining, and it looks like the blue team's actually going to pull this out in the end. Scouts in vain rushing back to that victory point, realizing what dire straits they were in, and the blue team just barely squeezes it by. Look at these army bars. There is no reason the Reds should have allowed that. A definite slip-up for the red team to throw that game out the window. Very unfortunate for them, but a good game and fantastic for us to watch anyways. And lots of Tech Marines. Lots and lots of Tech Marines. All with different stuff and one bed. So I hope you guys like Tech Marines because you got plenty of it. The Baneblade coming in at the end. The hero unit for the blue team there, making sure they could secure the top part of the map fairly easily, along with that Guo as well. These two super units at the end really managed to pull it out for the blues. Of course, the red team really could have squeezed out that victory. There's no reason they couldn't have, especially down here. I'm not sure. Hopefully we can see what happened down here to keep the Reds from getting that cap, but man, it seems like that decap should have been no problem. Triple Wraithguards, man. I wonder how many tank kills they managed to rack up there. I know they took out at least 3 Predators, a Layman Russ, and a Land Raider. I'm not sure if that was it. I'm sure they did plenty of infantry damage as well, but whew, nasty. It looks like there was only 2 squads of them left by the end of it, but 2 squads of Wraithguard is still a pretty serious ranged threat. With that guide ability too from the Farseer, it gives them enough range that they can really blast from safety. 6 points left for those blues. How about that? Anyways, hope you guys enjoyed the game. This is Red-Rupee. Feel free to like, comment, subscribe, hit me up on social media, stop by the Twitch stream, all that fun stuff. I'll catch you guys next time.